Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to my new channel. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. I guess I should wait until the video is over because you may not like it. But anyway, we are going to look at an interesting situation here. I was driving and listening to Dave Ramsey, the financial advisor, and he had a caller call in and she asked the question, should she pay off her home with her TSP? And the TSP, of course, is the thrift savings plan for government employees as well as the postal workers. And she went on to say that she works for USPS and she was a clerk. She's now reached 59 and a half, time to retire. And 59 and a half is when you can withdraw from a retirement account without paying a 10% penalty on top of your tax rate if you're in traditional. We'll talk about that later. So Dave asked the question, well, how much do you have to pay on your home? And she answered, I believe, like 80,000, 82,000. I'm going to leave the link to the video in the description below so you can check it out in detail. But I believe it was 80,000 that she owed. And then he asked her, well, how much is in your TSP? And she said 600,000. And his next question, you can tell he was trying to figure out if this woman was indeed a millionaire because he asked her how much the home was worth, and she said 300,000. So 600,000 in your investments, and she also had a Roth IRA outside of her TSP. So she had the investments plus her home, which is worth 300,000. After she pays it off, that makes her a millionaire. That's her net worth. What you own minus what you owe is your net worth. It's not owning $1 million in property and cars and whatever else if you have debt on all of those items because you don't actually own them until you pay them off. So anyway, we're gonna look at I saw the video, I heard the video actually, and so I said I had to get this out to my people, my coworkers, because it's inspirational. It's encouraging to know that a regular coworker. She said she's a clerk. She didn't make a high salary. I think she topped out at 63,000. She started wherever she started, maybe 30. She mentioned it in the video. But just an average income you can be a millionaire. So I put the video out, and a couple of people responded, checked it out, and a question came up. Well, how much is she putting in? Good question. So that's the purposes of this video. We're going to see, based on the length of time, it's more important to put in for a long period of time as opposed to trying to put in, shorten your time frame to put in more money. And that's why I have this calculator up, and we're going to look at it and see, run a couple scenarios to see like how much actually does it take to get to $600,000 or even $1 million working a regular job. So here we go. This is calculated. Now, we know the length of time is, she said 35 years she's been at the post office, but she probably hasn't contributed the full 35 years. So we'll use 30 years instead. This 10% I put in because I got that from the rates of returns. These are the funds. She said she listened to Dave Ramsey for a while, so if that's the case, then she's investing in the C, the S, and the I fund. 80% in the C, 10% in the S, 10% in the I. And since the majority of it is 80% is in the C, we'll just go with an even number of 10%. And you can see since 1988, this is the rate of return for the C fund. And the C fund has the best rate of return of all these other funds. And you can see here, this is everything that the TSP offers. You have these life cycle funds, which someone said that they are employees are automatically being enrolled in when they become career excuse me, And then you have the individual funds down here. It shows you the inception dates of all these funds, but the C fund, since its inception, has outperformed all the other funds. And we're going to take a look at these at another video in detail. But let's use 10% in the calculator. We're going to compound it annually. And I was playing around with this earlier. A monthly contribution of $300, which is roughly a little less than $150 a pay period, because we have 26 pay periods in a year. For 30 years, calculate. Starting with zero, this will bring you to $600,000. So you can clearly see that it doesn't take a lot of money. It does take the time though. If you see this curve, this balance here on in this graph here, you can see the first 20 years, the first 10 years, it's steadily growing. Then you get a nice curve, a bigger curve, the next 10 years. But you look at that last 10 years, it starts to get real steep. And that's where you get your biggest gains in those last 10 years. But you have to have the time to do it. Because if you look at it, let's say we cut the years in half. Cutting the years in half does not cut your balance in half. Let's take a look. Let's put in 15 and that same $300. So you only have 15 years to contribute. And you see that's a drastic difference. That's a 1/6 the amount that you could have with just an extra 15 years. So that's why it's so important to start early. Because if you only have the 15, let's say you only have 15 years to start contributing. Well, that means you would have to put in more money into your funds to get, if that's your goal, to get to $600,000. Let's do 1,500. So $1,500 a month is what you would have to be doing to get to that goal. And you actually want to do that because your retirement account, this is a savings investment retirement account, is where you're going to, you could say, draw your salary from. Because if you had, say, $600,000 in an account and it's still making 10%, some years it may make 5, some years it may make 15, whatever. But if you can make 10% on average, then you can withdraw $60,000 a year from that account to live on, and never touch the principal of $600,000, right? Let's say you make 5% one year. Well, that's $30,000 you can withdraw and still have $600,000 in the account. So, that could be perpetual. Then you add on top of that your Social Security, which will come later. If you retire at 60, you can start drawing your this will sustain you until it's time to start drawing Social Security. And then you add on top of that your postal retirement, the annuity that you're giving for working for the post office, that's calculated based on your number of years. So, like I said, very important to start early. Let's see if you had $100,000. Let's say you contributed to the account a number of years. You now have $100,000 in the account. And let's say you're doing $500 a month at that same 10%. So that will also get you there. All right. If you already have $100,000, say, okay, you watch the video, you watch my video, you heard the Dave Ramsey video, you got inspired. I'm going to start dumping more money into my TSP. And so if you already have $100,000 in there, this is what you need to do from here forward to get to that $600,000. All right. Now, you won't be able to do this $500 possibly if you have credit card debt, car loans. You probably have a house loan, but it could be that you have more house than you need. You know, that monthly mortgage could be higher than what you actually need. So it's making the budget tight every month to where you won't be able to do this comfortably. But $250 a pay period is really not a lot. So that's that should be encouraging to know that you can do that. Just 15 years, right? So some of us have worked for the post office at least 10 years. We have another 15, 20 to go. So we have some time to make up. And the beauty of the TSP is there's a maximum contribution of $20,000 that you can actually put into the fund. That's $20,000 of your salary. On top of that, if you're 50, at least 50 years old, you can put in an additional 6,500. So if you're 50 or older, you can do it's called catch-up contributions. You could do 26,500 a year that you could put into your TSP. So if you have the room to do that, I would suggest you do it. Yeah, pay yourself. That's the biggest thing. That's what you should be doing. All right. So we'll keep looking at this TSP. The next video we'll look at the funds a little bit closer to show why you want to do the allocation the way you want to do it, and why you may want to stay away from these life cycle funds. We'll look at all of that in the future. So if you like the video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Like I say, this is my new channel that I'll be posting videos on. There won't be any menswear on this channel. It'll be education and information. So hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that answers a few questions. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye.